everyone. In this video, we are going to see about the topic called inheritance. We have started the second unit. The topic of second unit is inheritance. This inheritance is one of the concept of WOP, object-oriented programming. If you remember, we learned about WOP concept, six types: class, object, encapsulation, abstraction, polymorphism, and as well as inheritance. We have almost covered most of the uh, concepts in WOP. This inheritance is a very important one, as because we are not going to deal with a single class, we are going to talk about more than one classes. How the programs are going to communicate with each other. Usually we have a maximum of, minimum of two classes, a maximum it goes as per our requirements. We have two major classes, one we call it as a base class and another one we call it as a derived class. In other words, we say base as a parent class, derived as a child class. The derived class is going to be a new class where base class is going to be a old class. So when I create a new class, this derived class is going to inherit some of the properties from the base class. Like how a child is going to have some of the behavior or characteristics of the parents, the same way this derived class is going to have some properties from the base class. So it's going to be very interesting. From now on, we are going to learn about in a quite advanced manner C++. Don't worry about the programming. I'll make it very simple for you. We have to understand the concept first. So I'm going to take a very simple logic in the programs just to make you understand how this WOP concept works. First, we see about the definition. What is a base class and what is a derived class? Base class is a class in object-oriented programming language for which other classes are derived. The class which inherits a base class has all members of a base class as well as can also have some additional properties. The base class members and member functions are inherited to object of the derived class. A base class is also called parent class or superclass. A derived class, a class that is created from an existing class. The derived class inherits all members and member functions of a base class. The derived class can have more functionality with respect to the base class and can easily access the base class. A derived class is also called a child class or subclass. So hope you're clear about what is base class and what is derived class. So next thing, if I'm going to inherit some of the properties from one class to another class, you might be wondering what is going to be the bridge to connect these two classes. Very simple. We are going to have one simple syntax which is going to be introduced in the derived class. You can see here the syntax for creating derived class. First, you can see here we have a class, base class, and this is the scope of the base class. We have members, member function, and so on. So, and then I'm starting another class, second class immediately. So I'm saying class derived class, and I'm having again members and member function. So if I want to inherit some of the properties from the base class to the derived class, I have to use this syntax. That means the derived class, after once I complete class, derived class's name, go with the scope, go with the colon, and then you have to mention the access specifier. How we are mentioning the access specifier inside a class, the same way if you're going to inherit any properties from a base class, you have to mention what kind of way you're going to inherit it. Are you going to take publicly or protect or private? There are three categories. These three categories are very important in inheritance. We are going to see that separately. First, understand the syntax. So class, derived class name, then you have colon, access specifier, and then base class's name. You have to mention the base class's name here. Only then this class can able to inherit the properties from this class. Let's see with more example. Next, we see about the access control. There are two ways to understand the access control. Let me explain with this program. You can see here I told you every class has its own access specifier. I can say public, I can say private, I can say protected. You know what is public and private. When I say public, the members and member functions can be accessed inside the base class. At the same time, it can be accessed in a derived class, or any other class can also able to access these members when I say it is a public. When I say private, Only the base class can access the data. Not even a derived class can access it. Not even any other class can access the private data. When I say protected, the base class can access, the derived class can access, but not the third party or the third class can access it. I repeat it. When I say public, base class, derived class, or third class can access. When I say private, only base class, no derived class, no third class. When I say protected, base class can access, derived class can access, but not the third class can access the protected data. That is when I'm talking about making a members and member function as a public, private, or protected. Now come to the second part of access specifier. I call it as access specifier 2. So if I'm going to access a base class's properties in a public manner, that means I can access all the public, protected, and private members. When I say protected, all the data which is present over here comes here as a protected manner. I say public will comes as protected, protected will comes as protected, private we can't access it. Like I said, private data cannot be accessed. And when I say private base class, public will comes as private, protected will comes as private, but you can access a private data. This might be quite confusing. I'll make it very clear for you in the upcoming slides. First, we see about the first access control. That means I'm talking about the access inside the class. So there are three types of access specifier: public, protected, and private. A derived class can access all the non-private members of its base class. Very important point. It can access all the non-private members of its base class. Now look at this table. When I say same class, I don't have a derived class, I don't have a third class. Alright, I have only the base class. Can I access a public data inside a base class? I can access. Can I access a protected data inside a base class? I can access. Can I access a private data inside a base class? I can access. All three are possible when if it is going to be a single class, only base class. Now come to the next one. I say derived classes. So derived classes, I say, can I access a public data that is present in the base class? I can access. Can I access a protected data inside a base class? I can access. Can I access a private data inside a base class? I can't. So derived class has a restriction, can't access a private data. It can access a public data and protected data. Now the outside class, it's not a base class, it's not a derived class. Can I access a base class's public data? I can, yes. Can I access a base class's protected data? No. Private data? No. Hope you're clear with this. If it is the same class, yes for all. If it is a derived class, apart from private, other two can be accessed. If it's outside class, only public can access. No protected data or private data can be accessed. So this is for one access controller. That means inside the class. The next one, access controller 2. Now understand what I'm saying. Be very clear with what I say so that you can understand clearly. This part, the base class member access specifier, public, protected, private. That means if you have a public data inside a base class, a protected data inside a base class, and a private data inside a base class. Have a logic like this. Inside a base class, I have a public data, protected data, and private data. Now I'm going to access this base class using a public access specifier when I want to inherit. Okay, so if a derived class want to inherit a base class using a public access specifier. So if it is going to access a base class using a public access specifier, can I access a public data? Of course I can access, but it comes as public. Can I access a protected data? Of course, it comes as a protected data. Can I access a private data? I can access a private data. Or we can take it in this manner. I'm saying base class having a public data, protected data, and private data, isn't it? So let me go in this order, not in this horizontal. Let me go vertically. When I say I'm going to access a base class with public access specifier, that means class, derived class, public, base class. Can I access the public data? I can access, it's going to be public. Can I access a protected data? I can access, it remains protected. Can I access a private data? You can't access a private data inside a derived class, even though it is a public way of accessing it. You can't access a private data of base class inside a derived class. Now I'm going to inherit the base class with the protected access specifier. Alright, I am using class, derived class, colon, protected, and then base class. If I access a base class's public data, when it comes to the derived class, it changes to protected, since I am accessing using a protected access specifier. When I am accessing a protected base class data, it comes as a protected derived class data. If I want to access a base class's private data, you can't access it. Now I'm going to access a base class using the private access specifier. If I access a public data from a base class, when it comes to a derived class, it turns out to be a private one. When I access a protected data from a base class, when it comes to derived class, it comes as private. And as well as private data, I cannot be accessed. This is the two way of using access controller. Be very clear about these two types, access controller 1 and access controller 2. If you have any doubt about this, you can play this video again and try to understand what I am saying about this difference of two kinds of access specifier. We're not going to see more example here. I'm going to have only two example. One is going to be executable program. Another one is to make you understand how this access specifier really works in a compiler. Okay, so let's see that. Let's get into code blocks. I have created a class called class area. So let me give the access specifier public. Let me have two data, length and breadth. The same concept, I'm going to find out the area. So length into breadth, that's going to be the formula, we know that. And let me have two functions, one for length and one for breadth. So here the concept is, I'm going to have two classes. One is going to be the base class, another one is going to be the derived class. So this area is going to be my base class. Here I'm going to give this data, that means length and breadth, inside two different function. And then I'm going to have a derived class. That is where I'm going to do the calculation, that is length into breadth. So if I want to do the calculation length into breadth, it needs to take the properties from the base class, the values of length and breadth. Let's see that. So let me have the first function, length, and I give the parameter here, and these values will be passed from the main function. Let me say length equal to L. We already seen this program, so nothing new here. Just understand how the inheritance works. Okay, so to first class over, I'm done with this. I'm going to create a second class. Let me say class calculation. So I need to inherit the properties from the base class, isn't it? So let it be. I'm not going to continue that. I'm just leaving as it is. Let me show you what I'm going to do in the second class. Access specifier. I'm not going to give any data. Let me say the return type integer. Do the calculation. Do cal. I'm sorry. Do. So here I'm going to do the calculation. Say return len into pre. Okay. Let me keep it simple now. Does this class, it's a separate class, isn't it? So does this class have the value for length, len and bre? It doesn't have. So I need to borrow it from my base class. I need to get it from my base class. So I need to inherit. So this is where we have to do it. I have to use colon and then access specifier public and then use the base class's name. And here the base class's name is area. So let me use area here. So let me zoom this for you. Yeah, right. So we have two class. One is area, another one is cal, and this is my base class and this is my derived class, and this is the syntax for inheriting the properties from the base class area. And if I forget to mention this public, for example, if I say colon just area, if I continue the program, this is not going to pass any error, but defaultly, if you're not mentioning anything, the same concept. If I'm not mentioning public here, what happens? So all this data will be defaultly considered as private. The same way, if I'm not mentioning any access specifier, defaultly it will be considered as private. So that's going to be a problem. If it is going to be a private access specifier, it will be quite difficult to access some of the data set directly. So make sure you're mentioning the access specifier. Most of the time, try to keep it as public. It will be easy to access any data from your base class. All right, now let's get into the main function. What we do here is we have to create an object. We have two classes, so you might have a question whether I have to create an object for both the classes. Was it required? Not necessarily. Every time you have to create an object for the derived class. This is your new class. Consider this is my old class. So always create an object for the derived class. That doesn't mean I can create an object for the base class. You can create, but when it is needed. But stick to creating a class for, I'm sorry, object for derived class. Let me say C is object. Now I need to give the values here, isn't it, for my base class. So is it possible to assign or call the function using the derived classes object? Of course it is. You can call, you say length and give a value like 5 or anything, and again call the second function breadth, say 10 is a value, and next now we can call the other function inside the cout. So I am using the same object c dot, it's do do underscore, what's that, cal, yeah, enter. All right, that's it. So save the program. So the functions from the base class, that is length and breadth, that is called with the derived classes object, and the next function do underscore cal, this belongs to a derived class, that is also called using a derived classes object. Let's see whether this works fine. Let me run this program. The first time when you try to run a program, it takes time to see your command prompt, and later on it will be coming fast. Yeah, area equal to 50. I got the answer. 5 into 10, 50. Now I can understand how it inherits. When I say c dot length, now you have a question. When I say c dot length, how it can able to go directly to this function, since I create an object for a derived class, how it can able to identify this? That might be the question. Let me tell you how the flow goes on. When I say c dot length, the object belongs to the class cal. So what it does is it goes directly over here to this line. It checks whether the class cal is available. Of course it is available, but understand, before checking its definition part, it checks whether this class has inherited anything from the base class. Of course we have inherited from a class called area. So before checking the cal's definition, it goes to this base class first and check whether the length is available or not. It is available, so it takes from this area. That's how it works. So don't imagine that using that object I'm directly jumping to area. It never jumps to area directly. It always goes to its class cal and it checks whether it has been inherited any properties from any class. It gives priority to the inheritance and then it comes to its own function or own definition part. That's how the inheritance works. Um, Let me try in a quite different manner. Instead of giving this to data as public, can I give this as protected? Okay, I'm giving this to data as protected, and here I'm giving this to function as public. I told you very clearly, when a base class's protected data are accessed, it can be accessed inside the derived class. That means len and bre can be used here. Of course the calculation will be done here. But remember, I'm calling this len and bre using this function length and breadth in the outside of the derived class. So can you access a protected data outside the derived class or outside the base class? It's not possible, isn't it? It should give an error. Let us check. It's giving any error. I'm getting. How am I getting that? Any guesses how I can able to access it? A protected data can be called outside. Quite interesting, isn't it? Just understand, I'm not calling this len and bre directly outside the class. Where this len bre is been used, did I call c.len or c.bre? Let me check that. Can I give like that? If I say c.len equal to 100, can I assign like this? Is it possible? Can I call directly a protected data outside the base class and outside the derived class? Let me run this program. I'm trying to assign a value here directly for len bre 100 to 100 outside the base class and outside the derived class. It's passing an error. It says something over here. Let's check what it is. len is protected. Please understand this line. Len is protected. So you can't access, any third class cannot access a protected data directly. It is not possible. So that's the thing you have to understand. A protected data can be accessed using a base class or a derived class, but not using a third class. But how I can be able to access this c.length and c.breadth? As because these two are given under public. Length and breadth are given under public, so I can access it. I don't have any problem in it. I'm not accessing this len and bre directly. It is used inside the function. I'm just calling the function, but that's under public access specifier. I can do that. Now let me say this part as private. And let me check. It passes an error. Now you might have a question. This len and bre has been used inside the length and breadth, that is public. Even though it is public, why can't I use it? But understand very clearly, a private data cannot be taken out from a base class by any manner. Even if it is called directly or used inside a function which is public, I don't care about it. A private data will always remain private inside the base class. Let's check what it says. You can see here len is private. You can access a private data even if it is used inside a public class or public function. Hope you are clear about how to use this public, private and protected. This access specifier cannot be used all the time for all the requirements, but you have to understand this inheritance support these kind of access specifiers. You should understand how it works. Now let me have the same program, and I'm going to add one more class here, and I'm going to tell you, can I have two base classes and I have one derived class, and can I access both the classes using one derived class? I repeat it again. I already have one base class, that is area. I'm going to have one more class. Let me say class. Let me take the find of the cost. Yeah, cost. Let this be another base class. Let me complete this for you. Let me do some calculation here. Let me calculate the area here. I get the value from the main function. Here I say return a into some 100. That means I say that is 5 and 10, 50, 50 into 100. So it should return 5000 as an answer. I'm just having this function alone inside a new base class. Okay. Now I have two base class. One is area, another one is cost. So I need the value of this len bre to be calculated inside cal, as well as the cost should also be called. I need this also to be performed. I need an output to be printed by calculating this area into 100. In that case, you can call by extending this, use comma space public cost. So how many base classes can you call inside one derived class? There is no limit here. You can have as many number of base classes you can inherit. You can have one derived class and two or more base classes. Likewise, you can have one base class, two or more derived classes. We are going to see that in the next video, the types of inheritance. There are 6 important types that clearly explains how to have a different kinds of base class and different kinds of derived classes. Let's see how this works. I'm not going to change anything over here inside this derived class or the main function. Let me add one more cout statement. Before that, I need the value of this c dot to underscore cal. So let me say ar equal to c dot to underscore cal. So why I'm doing this is I need the value to be stored inside a variable ar. I'm introducing a new variable, that means I need to declare it ar. Now I can use this ar to pass here. If you're confused, I can say I need to pass this value, length into breadth value inside this a, so that value will be multiplied with 100. So let me use cout again. Cost is, I need to call that function, use the same object c dot cal underscore area. That's the function name, I guess. Let me check again. Yeah, calculate underscore area. Now inside the parameter I need to give the variable ar and l. Okay, let us check. Yeah, so area is 50, cost is 5000. So that 50 is multiplied with 100, I get 5000. Hope you are clear about how to use a base classes, derived class, number of base class, number of derived class. Might not be very clear about the access specifier much more. So we are going to see one more program. It's not going to be executable program, just to show you how it is going to work, because we can't explain the access specifier. That means two types of access specifier in a single program. It takes at least some 4 to 5 programs to explain the access specifier in a very clear manner. So that's why I'm not going to take an executable program. It's going to be a non-executable program. I'm going to type it to make you understand how the access specifier works. Let me have a class name called test. Like I said, it's not an executable program, and I'm not going to get any output here. Just to explain the access specifier clearly here, let me have 3 data. One is going to be under public, I say int a. Another one going to be under protected, colon, let that be integer b. The last one be private, so it contains variable c. So let this be the base class. So inside the base class I have 3 data. One is public, one is protected, one is private. Now let me have 3 derived classes, like derived 1, and so it's going to inherit from test. So let me say, I just say test first, and later I'll say what it's going to do. And let me assign the values here. Let me say a equal to 1 and b equal to 2 and c equal to 3. That's what I'm doing here. I'm going to do the same for the other 2 derived classes also. copy paste. This is 2. Let me change the class name as 2, and the third derived class as 3. And the values, let it be. Let me keep it in the same manner. Now inside the main function, let this be the third class, outside derived class, outside base class. I'm going to give the same thing, a equal to 1, b equal to 2, and c equal to 3. All right, that's it. Now just look at this and answer yourself how this data can be accessed. Which are the data can be accessed inside the derived class, which are the data cannot be accessed inside the derived class, and as well as in the main class, the third party other class. Now let me take the first derived class derived 1. I'm saying test. I'm just saying test. That means it will be considered as private. Here I'm going to give public. Okay, so if I'm going to access this ABC as public, so a public data can be accessed using public access specifier. Yes, it can be accessed. And is that going to remain public, or it's going to be changed to protected or private? It's going to remain public. Okay. Now for the next one, b equal to 2. I am trying to access using a public, this base class, but b belongs to protected. So if I am going to access using a derived class can access a protected data. We know that. So that means again it's yes. And how it is going to be? Since I use public, so the protected data will turn out to be public here? No. The protected remains protected inside the derived class. Okay. Now comes c equal to 3. Even though I am trying to access a base class using public access specifier, this c belongs to private access specifier inside the base class. That means it's a definite no. You can't access a private data of the base class into a derived class. Hope you're clear about this. Likewise, let me take the next one. Let me say the access specifier as protected. Now answer this. Can I access a public data using the protected access specifier? Of course I can. There is a connection, there is a relationship between this public protected with base and derived class. So I can access. So is that going to remain public here? No. Since I am accessing in a protected manner, the public data will remain protected inside my derived class. Now come to the protected class. Of course I can access the protected data. It remains protected. And c equal to 3, I'm trying to access in a protected access specifier manner, but c is a private one, you can't access. Still remains no. Please recollect that table. I'm just following the same table here. Now let me say here test. So either you mention private or keep as it is. It's defaultly going to be taken as a private one, so not a problem. I am accessing a base class using private access specifier. Can I access a public data? I can access. How it is going to come inside the derived class? It's going to remain public or private? It should be turned out to be private because I'm insisting my base class data should remain here as private. So it should be private. Now protected, I can access since it's a derived class, but here it remains private. And private data, it's a strict no, you can't access. Now come to the third class. I'm considering this main as a third class. Now I'm saying a equal to 1. A is a public data. It can be accessed using a derived class. It can be accessed using a third class. So I say it's yes, I can. And it remains public. And protected data. Can I access using a third class? It's a definite no. Only a protected data can be accessed using a derived class, not any other class. So no. And private, we know that it's a definite no. So understand how this access specifier works. Very important concept. We are not going to repeatedly using this access specifier in the upcoming programs, but even though when you go for real-time projects, when you start working in any company, you have to use a secured data, secured codes, or secured information. At that time, they'll be asking about, or they'll be insisting you to use all these protected private things inside the program. So you should know all these basic thing very clearly. I hope you're clear about all this access specifier and the base class, derived class concept. In the next video, we see about the types of inheritance. Thank you.